Greetings, our dear viewer. This is Youth Voice at Hope Channel Uganda, and we are back with another enticing and interesting topic, goal setting and overcoming obstacles. And your host today is Angela Mudubira, an accounting student at Makerere University Business School and also a member of SDA Church Chirombe. Today with me, I have very beautiful young ladies and handsome gentlemen that are going to talk about the topic of goal setting and overcoming obstacles. But before we dive in there, let them introduce themselves, starting with a gentleman there.
All right, my name's Alan Mugisha, and by God's grace, I serve as the PCM leader, Lozilla District, and the PCM District Coordinator, CUC. And I work as a marketing and sales for RareNet services. Thank you very much.
Yes, please, the lady there.
Hello, dear viewers. My name is Nakamia Ruth. I'm a final year law student, and I'm a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church Boise.
Right here.
Oh, Jemima Kimono is my name. I'm a member of Nakawa SDA Church, as PCM Secretary, Rozia District, and an accountant by profession.
And lastly, the gentleman right here.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Edwin Agaba Wambale from SDA Church Emmaus. I'm a civil engineer by profession.
Thank you so much. So that is the wonderful team that we are going to be working with today as we digest the topic of goal setting and overcoming obstacles. So if you're to realize, goal setting is very, very crucial and very important if someone is to attain self-actualization or attain success, should I call it that way. It is very key. So very many times we are faced with obstacles, we have challenges that try to make us fail to attain what we want to get. But here today, we are going to be seeing why it is very, very important. So setting a goal is very, very key, and we are going to dive in why and how it is very, very important for us to set smart goals. And I want to start with the lady right there. Yes, Ruth.
Okay, well, when it comes to setting goals, we are lucky to have an acronym of SMART. You need to be specific when you're setting your goals. You need to set measurable goals. They need to be relevant and all that. But it is so important for us to understand, why are we setting goals? If we are ever seeking for clarity, if we ever want to discover our purpose in life, then we need to set goals. Setting goals keeps us grounded. It keeps us aware of where we are heading, what we want, and it keeps us in the know of the why, the what, how, and when. Because as you're setting your goals, these are things you look at and these are things you establish. You know why you started, what you are doing, how you're going to get there, and all that. So it's very important for us, before we even dive into the actual bit of setting goals, to know all these things. The what, the why, when, where, and how.
So at that very point, I want someone to make a certain supplement. How do we set goals that align with our values and our priorities? Yes, please, Edwin.
Yeah, I think the very first thing to do is to know your purpose. Yes, what do you want to achieve? What are you for? Such that you set goals that align with your purpose. When you know what your purpose is, when you know your vision, when you know where you are headed, then you are able to set goals that lead you to that. I believe I call goals the wheels that lead us or that drive us to our vision or to our purpose. So first, know your purpose. Have a vision. Where am I headed? And then, how do I get there? Before you know your purpose, you're never going to set goals that are really, really relevant to where you're going, because you have no purpose. You don't know where you're headed. So the first thing is know your purpose, have a vision, know where you're headed.
A quick one for you, our dear viewer. Goals are wheels that shape us, that lead us to our vision. Yes, please, Alan.
Just in a small addition to what my brothers just shared, if at all you don't have goal, that means you don't have a plan. Okay? That means for you don't have a goal, you're planning to fail. And trust me, planning to fail does not take work. It takes just a matter of having nowhere to go. Okay? And surprisingly, we are good at that because it's comfortable. That means if at all you don't have a goal you are shooting at, you're a football player in the pitch who is going to be running around the pitch the whole time. Because you expect the result to end 0-0 and you end up, when it's ending, 3-0. Okay? So you have to have a goal in life. You have to have perspective, as you say.
Okay, alluding to football. Okay.
I think you should identify your ability. What can you do? it's not about being ambitious. You can set big goals when your ability reaches here. But you want something like this. First, go step by step. Yeah.
Wow, that is very, very interesting. So, at exactly that point, we want to know, why is it important to set a goal? Yes, please. I think I should start with Edwin. Why do you think it is very, very important to set goals in life?
Yes, thank you so much. As I said earlier, they are the wheels. You just imagine you have a car, you want to go to Mbarara, and then you have flat tires. Will you reach Mbarara?
No.
You will not reach
Definitely
Mbarara.
not.
So goals are the wheels that lead us to where we want to be. Now, why it's important is because goals give us clarity. You know, as human beings, we have a mind, and our mind always asks for clarity, clear things. It's easy to achieve something that you can see with your mind very clearly. So that's what goals help us to do. When you have a goal, let me say, for instance, I am going to marry this year, 2025. That is very clear. You know that 2025, by the time it comes to an end, it should get me married. So what do I need to do? So it gives my mind on how
Sense of direction.
Yes, sense of direction on how I'm going to live throughout that year. So it's very important because it gives us clarity and it gives us direction. There are so many distractions in our world today. So many of them. When you go to church, everyone wants you to go the way they want. But if you know exactly how you should tread, you have set it in your mind, nobody's going to distract you. So goals help us from distractions.
Thank you so much, Edwin. So at that very point, Ruth, could you be having something you can add? Why is it important to set a goal, in your perspective?
Well, I think everything has already been said, but just probably to throw more light, whenever you set your goals, you're more focused. Like Edwin said, they're the wheels. You're driving to one direction, not just anywhere. And as young people, we tend to struggle with things of time wastage and all. So if you have a goal, if you have a focus point for that day, your mind is shooting towards that. And like we already said, know your why you started. Like, why are you having this goal for that day? Probably your goal for that day is to declutter your environment. Why is it that you opted to do this? And it will keep you focused and it will help you to get tasks done. Yeah, because we tend to keep backlog of work. So whenever you set goals, you tend to break things down.
Yeah,
and get them done.
Ruth mentioned
please.
something very, very important. She talks about time. Time is the currency of life. Now, when you do not have goals, you're going to waste time.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do so many things that are leading you to somewhere that you do not know. And by the time you realize, you have wasted a lot of time. But when we have goals set, we're able to manage our time wisely because we know exactly what we have to do at a particular time. So it is very, very important because our time will be saved when we set goals.
So exactly there, before you get that submission, Jemima, our dear viewer, why do you think it is very, very important for you to set a goal? In your own perspective, think about it as you watch this show. Why is it important for you to set a goal? Yes, Jemima.
Yeah, my submission was, when you set a goal, it also helps you to find self-awareness. Yeah, because sometimes you can set a goal and you're not sure of if you can do certain things, but because you've set a goal, you also set the objectives and the directions. You find out that gradually you can achieve actually what you didn't think you can.
So at that very point, why is it very important for us to seek God's guidance in our process of setting goals? Alan, why do you think it is very, very important to seek God's guidance in our journey of setting goals?
Well, I would think it is not just important, but it's crucial. Okay? Because you're planning, you're setting goals for a future that you are not sure of, and the Bible tells us that is the owner of the future. And setting a goal gives you a glimpse, gives you a chance to live a microsecond or live a bit in your future. So if at all your plan is with God, you have to involve Him in your goals. Because what you are planning for, You plan, but God what? At the end of the day, is the one who decides what goes through and what doesn't. So you have to involve him. It's very crucial.
Meanwhile, those that have just joined us right now, you're welcome. This is our Youth Voice show on Hope Channel Uganda, free to air. It's channel number 21. Star Times, it is 241, and GoTV, it is 821. And do not forget to like, follow, and subscribe all our social media handles. We are still looking at why it is important to seek God's guidance when we are setting our goals. Yes, Ruth.
Well, just like Philippians says, we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength.
Yes,
yeah.
please.
So there is nothing that you're going to accomplish without Christ in it. And he establishes our plans. That's in the book of Proverbs. Yeah. You might set your plans and all that, but he's the establisher of everything.
True.
So it is so important for us to seek God's guidance. Also because whatever we do has to align with his will, and we are supposed to live by faith. Also, we live to reflect Christ in whatever we do. So it's very, very important
That
for
was
us.
very touching, Ruth.
Thank you.
It was really nice. It was a nice one. Yes, Jemima. Why is it important, in your own view, to seek God's guidance?
Why is it important? I find it very, very not just important, because Christ is the author of everything. He's the start and the end. And when you do not seek for his conscience while you're starting, I'm very sure you might end up.
You actually plan
you-
to fail
yes,
if you do
you're
not.
planning to fail at the
Exactly.
end of the day. Because like he needs to be there from the start. Because sometimes we intend to start things on our own foundation, and then we find out we failed. When we fail, that is when we realize we really need Christ. So we need to look into that. If at all you're setting a goal that you really want to achieve, you have to look at involving him from the start.
And the last one from Edwin.
Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans that I have for you. Now, when we forget that, we are going to set goals that are going to disturb us, that we are not going to achieve. Because what we have to realize in the first place is that in the goals that we are going to set, God expects us to know that he has the bigger plan. And he has the bigger goal that we should be shooting in. So that's why we should seek him first, because he's the one that knows exactly what fulfills us. Yeah. He's the one that knows exactly what we should achieve. And he's the one that has the bigger picture. Ours is just small pictures that are fitting in the bigger picture that God has for us. And that's when we are going to find fulfillment. When we set our goals, knowing that we are shooting in the same goal that God has set for us.
Yeah, just to add on the brothers say, is we find out that we always ask God for what we desire, but he knows what we need. So we need to leave him to give us to do his will. Yeah, so we can get what exactly we need. Sometimes we pray and then we do not happen. No, it does not happen. He has the reason as to why.
Actually, what I've picked there is we should learn to differentiate between what we want and what we need.
Exactly.
Many times we ask for what we want, not what we need. But we should always allow God to take, Jesus to take the wheel. I love that song so much. Jesus, take the wheel. Yes. So we should allow Christ to take the wheel in our lives, so that everything we do should emulate Christ. And people should seek Christ in everything that we do. So it is wrong for us to set goals and do not involve Christ in the very first place. So right there, I want us to talk about something small, the mistakes to avoid when setting goals. What are those mistakes that people normally do that we should avoid as young people while setting goals? Yes, Alan.
The first mistake you can make while setting goals is setting small goals. Because if at all you're planning, you're setting a goal, and you tell God, God.
I see Ruth is surprised.
Dream big.
Like, you dream big. You can't say that, God, I want 1 million. When you're capable of 50 million.
Alan, how much
you
money
can't,
do you want?
Don't go there. Don't go there. You're saying mistakes we make. Okay. So the first biggest mistake is underestimating yourself when setting a goal. Yeah. Because you have set a bar not too high but too low, whereby You may set a bar when it's actually below your neck. You are taller than your goal you've set.
Wow.
That means you have made the greatest mistake of not trusting yourself that you can do something.
Wow. Another mistake that we make while pursuing our goals. Yes, Jemima.
Another mistake we make while we are setting our goals is setting unrealistic. I might be opposite to
daydreaming.
him. Yes.
You start the dreaming.
Exactly. Then you'll be like, I need 10 million. Yet actually, in your capacity, you know you can make only 1 million in a day.
Meanwhile,
You
1
get-
million was big.
Was big for
Yeah,
him.
for me
So
it's
you have to
small.
measure yourself. First measure yourself to avoid those unrealistic goals that you set. And then also have unbiased mind. Yeah. Like you make your mind to be independent. Do not set like let's say you want to marry. And then you want to marry, but just because Alan is getting married this year,
yeah.
I
Alan
have
is
to
listening
also.
a lot.
Yes.
Listening
So my
that.
my goal is being set depending on what Alan's decision.
Influence,
So I
huh?
need to make my own. Yeah, be independent while setting goals.
That was a nice one. Yes, Edwin.
Yeah, just to add on to what she was saying, we sometimes make goals out of peer pressure, and then we cannot attain them, and then it disturbs our esteem, it disturbs our fulfillment. So we should not make goals depending on pressure. Another mistake that we make is, I think this is because we do not understand what goals are. For instance, somebody will say, I want to grow spiritually. For me, that is not a goal. That is not a goal.
It's an obligation.
Yes, that is not a goal. But if you say, I want to read the book of John by the end of, when we make them so
Today.
open, that is a mistake that we make. You make goals so open. I mean, Ruth was talking about they have to be time bound. You know, we have to follow that smart.
Yeah.
When you just say, I want to grow spiritually, I want to become rich, that is a mistake that so many of us make, and you cannot quantify, you know, what you have achieved. You cannot
At the end of the day,
realize
you
it.
can't assess yourself.
Exactly. That is a very, very big mistake that most of us make.
So a last one, Ruth. What other pitfall
Well,
can you talk about?
I think the biggest mistake, everyone has cited theirs, this is mine, is not writing down our goals.
Very, very important.
When you read the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2 to 3, it talks about writing down our visions. And as we are setting our goals, we need to write them down. Because when you write something down, it's easier for you to go back and reassess yourself. It is easier for you to acknowledge your wins. It is easier for you to cite out that you failed.
You can actually
One
reflect
point.
and
Yeah.
pave a way forward.
Yeah, so I think the biggest mistake is not writing down. So it's so important for us to write down our goals. However big or small, we need to write them down.
Yeah,
As a writer, I really felt that.
yeah, just to amplify that. Yeah, yes, you're going to write them down, but don't write them just in a notebook. Write them and hang them, such that you can see them when you go to
Constant
sleep.
reminder.
You can see them when you wake up.
The bath-
Such
Feels
that
like an
yes.
alarm, eh?
But also that depends on your environment.
Exactly.
If you're in a communal kind of space, for instance, for the students, they could be in hostels. You're like 2, 3, 4, you might not be in position to hang. But if you have private space, if you have a journal, then you can write down your goals. If you don't, and you're probably in your private space, you can have your vision board hanged, have your goals out there. I think
Yeah.
that
Key
varies.
is just to have them where you can
Written.
see them,
Yeah.
where you can keep them active in your mind, such that they are part of your daily living. That's how you're going to be able to achieve them
Yeah, then
easily.
Be like, hey, I said I'm supposed to do this by this time, but where have I reached?
And you know, when it comes to such things, especially things that concern you and your goals, if you set like a meeting, please arrive earlier. Like it's a meeting with you, be there on time, even before time, and endeavor to be present in the moment.
Self-discipline.
Yeah, be there.
Then just a small addition, a small one. When you're setting a goal, you have to have an accountability person, like someone to check every now and then, like a partner. Eh? Like after you've set a vision board, right? Someone has to remind you, like you can't move this in this journey alone. By the way, Because if at all you are answering to yourself, that means when you fall, you won't notice that you've even fallen.
So you're trying to say we need mentors.
Not necessarily a mentor, but someone who can follow up on you.
Somebody
who can check on you.
Somebody who will ask you that you said you're getting married. How far? Why are things
Have
not
you
happening?
proposed?
Exactly.
Just like companies, they be having internal auditor,
Yeah.
but they have to source an external auditor.
Yeah.
You get, just to make sure they have implemented.
You're not just
what they
dreaming
said.
about the
Yes.
goal.
No.
Looks like people are speaking out of their minds. So, our dear viewer there, do you have a goal? Do you write down your goal? What do you do? Do you have someone that follows up your goals? I don't know if these people have. They have talked about hanging your goals somewhere. If you have private space, hang them so that you can keep track and realize that, you know what, I planned to do this, I purposed to do this, I've attained it, I've failed to get this, or I've attained this and failed at this. That is very, very important. But the biggest mistake of all that you can do when you're setting your goal is leaving out God. When you leave out God while you're setting your plans, my dear, plan to
You've
fail.
not planned.
Because it is self-destruction, I should say. If you leave out God in everything that you do, it is self-destruction. So we are still going on with this topic. It is actually getting very interesting, goal setting and overcoming obstacles. So I want to leave something small for you to think about as we are about to go into our break. So setting a goal is the first step in turning the invisible to the visible. So something that was a statement made by Tony Robbins. Something that is invisible can become visible if you set a goal. But above all, what do you do to attain that goal? It is not enough to set that goal. So stay tuned in. It is the Youth Voice Show, Hope Channel Uganda. We are live everywhere. You can follow our social media handles on YouTube, Hope Channel Uganda, free to air. It is channel number 21. GoTV, it is 821. And StarTimes, it is 241. Once again, I'm Angela Mudubira, your host for today. Youth Voice Show, Hope Channel Uganda. We shall be right back. Welcome back, our dear viewer. This is the Youth Voice Show once again on Hope Channel Uganda. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our socials, and bring in your comments, bring in your supplements via our YouTube channels. You can also feel free to contact us on our number that is running down on the screen. Thank you so much for coming back once again. You're looking at goal setting and overcoming obstacles. So very many times in life we get obstacles while we set our goals, but we should look at obstacles as opportunities. It should be a moment for you to think about your life and realize that this is a point for me to grow. So why do those obstacles that you look at in a negative way, why should they be points for you to look at as a basis of growth and making yourself a better person? So I want Edwin to tell us why these obstacles should be looked at as opportunities. Yes. Edwin.
Thank you so much. An obstacle is something that is hindering you from progress, and that is a challenge. If you have joined the hurdle races, you know, there are those small obstacles that you have to do what? To jump over. So it is a challenge. One, it is a challenge for your mind to grow. It is a challenge for you to seek knowledge beyond what you know. I mean, if you come across an obstacle that you do not you have no idea on how to overcome, you would seek maybe a professional. For instance, I have a friend of mine who wanted to marry. And then he brings this girl home, and it was his goal, I must marry this person by the end of the year. But then the parents are like, no, we don't want that person. And they become an obstacle to him to fulfill the goal that he had planned. And how do you go over that? So he was sharing with me, I was telling him, maybe you need to see a counselor. Maybe you need to ask a pastor. Maybe you need to find out from your church elders. So knowledge grows. Your mind expands. And before you realize you have got as much knowledge, and what seemed like an obstacle becomes something easy to go over because you have broadened your mind. So I think it is an opportunity for us to grow because we do not remain children. We have to grow, meet challenges, overcome them, and that expands our thinking and how we look at life generally.
That was a powerful insight, Edwin. So, at that very point, what are some of the obstacles that can hinder our progress towards attaining or achieving our goals? I want to start with Alan. Today is seated next to me, so Tombona.
Okay, what are some of the obstacles
that can hinder your progress?
That can hinder my progress.
Yes, towards your goals.
The number one obstacle are distractions. The Bible tells us we have all sinned and fallen short
of the glory
of God. Let me take you back into Genesis.
Wow.
When Adam lost sight of Eve for a minute and got distracted, sin came into the world. Right?
Yeah.
Look into that. Adam just got distracted for just a short minute. I'm going to relate distraction to sin. Okay? Distraction to sin. Because every now and then, we see distraction as an imperfection in our system. Whenever you are distracted from what your goal is, you are going astray. The same thing that happened in the genesis of this world that brought sin to come upon us and made us imperfect is the same thing that happens over and over and over again to our goals. Because I'm sure when God was creating, he had a goal. He had a purpose for us, why we are created.
So the first obstacle is distraction.
Distraction and how to overcome it.
Thank you so much. Anyone with another obstacle? Yes, Jemima.
Another obstacle that we can face while setting our goals is being uninformed.
Ignorance.
Yes, you do not know what is going on. Let's say technology is being advanced, but you opened up a school and then you start using blackboards. You get people have advanced now; they are using whiteboards.
Alan, you studied
Yes.
when you're writing on the floor,
Which
so
means
you're talking about whiteboards.
In my days.
So you did not know. So you have to make research in your goal that you're setting. What is there? What is the trend at the moment in what you're doing? What do you want to achieve?
Wow, ignorance is a very big obstacle in attaining our goals. Yes, Edwin.
And just to amplify, I'm just amplifying ignorance.
Yes, please.
Mindset, attitude can be a very big obstacle to achieving your goal. I mean, you have this attitude that I can't do it, I can't make it. Your mindset is so small.
The negative self-talk.
Yes. You're always negative, talking negative about yourself, and that hinders you because you are what you think. You are what you think. So our mindsets are very big obstacles
They
to
really
achieving
define us.
our goals.
Very much. So, Ruth,
So,
another obstacle.
Just before I cite out my obstacle, I think just to add on what Edwin said, the Bible tells us to have the mind which was in Christ. Yeah? And then now, sometimes we become our own obstacles in that way when we just decide to bear our own thoughts, our own minds, and we are not guided by the Spirit. The way we speak to ourselves, sometimes we are unkind to ourselves before even other people are unkind to us. We judge ourselves negatively even before others judge us. So even when we are setting our goals, we tend to tell ourselves that, I think you're not going to do it. Like, can you really raise $1 million by the end of the year? Like, really? Techisoboka, and then you leave it out. So, and then the other thing is the people around us. the people around us can become an obstacle to our goal setting strategies and all. Sometimes these people are actually our own, like your mom could be an obstacle.
Yeah.
Your sister could be an obstacle. Your close friends could be, yeah. And probably you've told these people, you know what, by the end of the year, I want to do this. And as young people, we have this thing of, next year I am hitting the gym. And then everyone is just like, you,
Will you?
which
The way you love
gym?
chicken.
Yeah. So instead of these people encouraging you, and at one point I faced such a challenge before I enrolled into law school. Personally, I didn't think I would really manage being in law school. I was not a reader then, but now I am. And
That's nice.
someone in my home said, a brother of mine said, Ruth, you're going to do law. You who doesn't like reading, just do something small, then you come back. We hit the streets and see what lies ahead. So it is that kind of thing. The people around us can be a hindrance to us. when
Yeah,
we set
and I
goals.
think that's why many times they have said, don't share your plans with others.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Don't share with them until they come to fruition.
So the
Because people have that, and you can't control
kind
it.
of negative energy.
It's them. You can't control it. I remember there's a time I told my sister, I was still studying. I told them, next year I'm going to start working. And they laughed. They laughed at me. They were like, that's
It
not
looked
possible.
like you're in a comedy
Yes.
show or something.
Yeah, and even my dad told me, no, you cannot work while studying.
Studying, yeah.
But next year, I just kept focused. The very next year, I was working. So people around us can really become a problem, a very, very big
And
obstacle.
sometimes what causes that is because we do not know ourselves. We lack self-awareness. Is that you do not know you can do such a thing. And once you do not know what you can do, the environment obviously is going to define you.
It for
Yeah.
you. Mhm.
What they say about you is what you take.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then a small supplement on self.
Yes, please.
There's a word called self-esteem.
Oh.
Mm.
Do you know that if you have the right self-esteem, you can be in a group of negative people
And you still
and
stand
still
out.
move
Yes.
and still stand out because you know yourself. They say self-esteem is your own steam inside. If you're not unable to boil out, then you don't have it. So self-esteem is crucial when it comes to what you're talking about.
So a quick one, dear viewer, what is that obstacle that is stopping you from attaining your goal? You know, the year starts and you know, I want to build my house, I want to construct this, I want to attain this, I want my sales to hit up to this, but very many times you fail. So what is that obstacle? Think about it and how do you overcome it? That takes me exactly to the next thing. How do we overcome such obstacles? Something small, everyone. How do we overcome such obstacles?
Jesus, when you read the book of John chapter 12, verse 20, Jesus Christ left heaven and the goal was to save mankind, to come and die,
Yeah.
such that he gives us a life. But as he's on his course to do that, people from Greece come. You know, Jesus is doing his work and whatever. So they come and they tell him, this man is speaking wonderfully. They speak to Philip, one of his disciples. Say, this man speaks wonderfully. Can you talk to him such that he comes to Greece and he speaks to us? So Philip goes through Andrew, and Andrew reaches Jesus Christ. And then Jesus Christ says something. He says, right now is the time for the Son of Man to do what? To do his mission. I'm just paraphrasing.
I get it.
Yeah, and he tells them that the Son of Man must he brings a scenario of a seed. He says that it must die first and then. So what Jesus Christ was doing, these people come and they want to distract him with a good thing. Most times we think distractions are really bad
I
things.
know. It's really tempting.
They're telling him, come and preach the gospel It's a good thing. But he knows that my goal right now, what is important is that I have to die and resurrect and bring new life. The message that these people want will reach them if I die. But if I go there and then not die, then I've not fulfill my goal. What does this call for? Being focused. We overcome.
Focus can help us overcome those obstacles.
Be focused. Know your goal. Know it. A writer says, be obsessed with it.
Exactly.
Be obsessed with your
That is
goals
the right word.
that no one can take you away. So the first thing we are going to have to overcome these obstacles and everything that comes out around the distractions is focus. Be obsessed with your goal. Know what you want and focus right on that.
How else can we overcome those obstacles? Yes, Alan.
All right. As Christians, we be there having visions that I'm a Christian, I follow God, I don't expect problems.
Which is a very wrong mindset.
Which is not even just wrong, it is dangerous.
Wow.
Because we end up doing things without intentions, saying that it's going to be a smooth.
Everything is going to be
Christ came himself on earth and he faced obstacles.
Then
For Christ's
who are
sake,
you?
for Christ's sake, his own are the ones who said, Pilate wanted to let him go, right?
But his own.
But his own insisted, no, we want that the thief that we know.
He has to die.
He has to die.
Yes.
So don't be there saying that, let me wake up. You have to be intentional. You have to wake up and say that I need to accomplish this today. Whatever obstacle comes today, I have to accomplish this. You have to make a ritual. I'm sure some of you have rituals, but you know that I have something I do to keep myself from my obstacles or from my distractions. Some put sound distracting what? Earphones. Some of them listen to music. Everything you can do to keep, because trust me, the world always is 100% distractions, naturally. You have to create a way as a Christian to block out the world. Because as I stated at the beginning, sin is inevitable. But us doing what is right and blocking out these so-called obstacles, which are obvious, have to be there, it is our mandate as Christians to do that also. So you have to create rituals, you have to be intentional. Thank you very much.
Yes, Ruth. How else can we overcome these obstacles?
I think we need to minimize our distractions, the things that are just distracting us. For example, social media, it is just distracting you from attaining your goals. And it's not entirely bad. It is advantageous, however disadvantageous. So you need to minimize and be aware of what kind of content you're consuming, because it might also have an impact on your goals. For instance, if you want to be a better person in the new year, then avoid watching content that derails that person you want to become. Yeah. Then the other thing is that the goal is progress, not perfectionism. So now this means that you're going to make mistakes along the way. You're going to start and fail, but that should not put you down. You need to.
What matters is how many times you raise up.
Yeah, exactly.
So that leads me to a very, very interesting topic again. How can we cultivate resilience, perseverance in the face of obstacles? How can you remain motivated? How can you maintain that motivation while overcoming obstacles? I want to start with Jemima.
Thank you very much. First of all, you should understand that any obstacle is not a discouragement. Yeah. Once you change the way you see it,
change your perspective and how you view things
about it. Yes, in every distraction, any obstacle, see it as an opportunity.
Wow.
I love entrepreneurs, where you see those rich people, they invest in something which you say like, no, once you enter into such a thing, you're going to fail.
They're risk takers.
Yes, they're risk taker. So when it comes to your goals, be a risk taker, not a risk averse. Yes. And then also you should be having hope. Yeah.
Actually, the last thing you should ever lose is hope.
Yeah. You not losing hope in yourself is the first thing. Unless you can lose everything, but when it comes to hope, be with it. For instance, when it came to, you saw Jesus' disciples, when he died, they lost hope. And what happened? They went back, everyone went to their
own business.
They even forgot about what? Their business, like what they are supposed to do. But when they realize
And then the Holy Spirit came unto them. They realized that no, what you're doing is not what? Good. So they had to come back. Their hope was being brought forth, and then they had to do what? To go forward to do that.
Yes.
The needed forth.
Edwin, how do you stay motivated in the face of obstacles? We've looked at very many obstacles. So what is that can keep you motivated and encouraged?
Look out for people that are on the same trail with you. People that are focused. Yes, we talked about people being a distraction or whatever, but they are good people. They are people that will actually motivate you. Recently, I opened a small shop, and my friend always calls me and he says, I just passed your factory. I'm like, what do you mean? He told me, you need to call it a factory. Don't just say it's a big. Yes, don't just say it's a shop. Just say I'm at the factory or I'm at the farm or whatever. So motivating me to look to dream bigger. Yes. Yeah. So when we have people such as those, they help us move along. They keep on motivating us. They keep on giving us that energy, even in the challenges. They will show up and support you. So those support groups are very, very, very crucial in helping us to stay motivated as we look forward to achieving our goals.
So dear viewer, in the process of you setting your goal, you need a support system. That was from Edwin. Yes, Alan?
You know what I can say about that? It may sound weird, but there's something I learned to do a few years back.
Okay.
I said thanking God for the problems I'm facing. I said thanking God for the obstacles. And while I was praying, thanking Him, I would ask Him, but Lord, teach me. What am I supposed to, because I know everything happens for a reason, what am I supposed to learn from this obstacle? And our beloved singer sang about that, Lukusuta. We were
even learned Luganda.
Yeah, I even learned Luganda because of that song. Because you have to look beyond that obstacle. And you can't look beyond it without involving God. You have to first accept it and say, God, thank you for what is happening. I'm not understanding why this is happening, but I believe there's a reason why it's happening. So show me why is this obstacle there? What am I supposed to learn from it? And once I learn that, then I can move beyond it.
Do you know, there is a point I reached and I started believing that, I don't know if it is a right perspective, but personally, I believe God does not give you challenges that you can't handle.
He can't.
The Bible is very clear about that. It says, no, God will not bring temptations your way without giving a way out.
He will always pave a way. However hard it may seem, stay motivated because God has a reason as to why that obstacle is there.
Just to add on what Alan has said something very important for all Christians that we should always look at, and that should be our mindset when challenges come. What do you want me to learn from this?
Sure.
Very, very important.
That is very important, and it changes your attitude towards the problem. What do you want me to learn from this? That will change our attitude when obstacles, when challenges come our way.
Yes, Ruth, what keeps you motivated in the face of obstacles?
Well, personally, what keeps me motivated is how far I have come.
Ebenezer.
Yeah. How far, like every time I'm faced with a challenge, I look back.
I've come this far.
And I'm just like, but I've come this far. God has carried me through this. So my testimonies, I'm a testimony to myself, even before I am to others.
Actually, I've remembered something. Those of you that have carried out some mountain climbing, when you're climbing a mountain, Alan, please don't laugh. But when you're climbing a mountain, you know, I've ever been in that situation. You reach somewhere and feel like you want to give up. You see people ahead of you. People are already at the peak. And you're like, I can't reach there. But when you look where you've come from, you're like, no way. I can't come this far to give up now.
I can't waste it. I can't waste whatever I have built.
Let that be a motivation to us all. You've come from very far to give up.
To let this
at that particular point. So that small distraction should not make you forget the big thing that you're about to attain. Maybe you're just a step closer.
Yeah.
You're just one step closer to that big thing that you've always desired to have. So why give up right now?
Yeah, another small one. Celebrate the small wins. Celebrate them. They will keep you
Take yourself out
motivated.
now and
Yes,
then.
yes, yes.
Alan, when are you taking yourself out
but
again?
then I think as young
Alan is
people, we're
always
also
cheating
taking
himself.
the wrong perspective of celebrating wins.
True.
Celebrating wins does not mean take yourself out. It also goes to awarding yourself something that keeps you motivated or something that is going to push you ahead. So it's not just eating.
Javas.
You don't actually have
Alan,
to spend
eating makes you
money
motivated.
to celebrate a win. Yeah. Celebrating wins is more than just spending. I mean, I could celebrate my win by gifting myself a new journal. Yeah. I could celebrate myself by gifting myself something else. It doesn't have to be the extremes. You don't have to.
Alan,
go
hope
out of
Ruth
the
is
budget.
communicating. She's trying. That was very, very, very nice. Actually, I've learned a lot. Guys, I've learned a lot from you. This has been very, very wonderful. Goal setting and overcoming obstacles. So just in a minute, everyone is just giving us their take-home points. Just one statement. Yes, Edwin.
Yeah, goals, I should say smart goals, are the wheels that drive us to our vision and to our purpose. Let us set smart goals.
Thank you. Yes, Jemima.
I would urge everyone to still hold on hope. You lose everything but hope, and then you trust God's timing. You might fail, but God knows when you really need that thing.
Wow. Yes, Alan.
Hymn number 290, turn your eyes upon Jesus.
Wow.
Look full in his wonderful what?
All
As the
things
things
of the earth
will go
will
strangely dim
dim.
in the light of his way. So at the end of the day, Christ is the answer for all of this.
You're becoming a musician recently. Yes. Yes,
I'm
Ruth.
motivated too.
Well, have your own idea of success. Success varies, how we all view success. It's all different. So bear in mind your own idea of success and dwell on that. And also break down your goals into smaller tasks that you can work upon daily, weekly, monthly. It could be quarterly, and to the bigger picture, really. Yeah.
It
takes
has
the
been
small steps.
so wonderful to have these young people here talking to you, talking to us all. It has really been a very wonderful session. So my take-home point for you, our dear viewer, those that have just joined in, those that are inviting friends to join in, you're doing a great and wonderful job. So do not be demotivated. Keep attaining what you want to be. You can do it in bits. It may be gradual, it may be slow, but eventually when you hold on hope, like one of us said, you will get there. Do what the clock does, it keeps going. Do not give up at any point. Thank you so much for watching the Youth Voiced Show. And your host today has been Mudubira Angela. I'm very happy to be here again. And let's keep watching. Follow, like, and subscribe on our social media platforms, Hope Channel Uganda. Do not forget to invite friends to keep joining in as we watch this wonderful program. It is really a point for us to learn. It is a point for us to share, reflect, and get new ideas. Because when you share opinions with different people, you get to learn a lot from them, and they also learn a lot from you. So I believe this program has been very, very important to you, our dear viewer. Today we have learned how to set our goals, the obstacles that we may face, how we overcome them, and how to stay motivated even in the face of obstacles. It has really been very, very wonderful. I really don't want to leave, but I actually have to, because time is not our best ally. It has been nice being with you today. Stay tuned on to Hope Channel Uganda. We love you. This is the Youth Voice Show. Thank you.